Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Phyllis Smiles. If you're new here, kindly hit that subscription button. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always being here. Yes, enjoy your stories and please watch till the end.
Months later, I didn't see my period. What is really going on with me? I know it's supposed to have come few days back. Let it not be that I'm pregnant. What should I do now? I will do home test to be sure. I thought in my mind. God please. Let it not be pregnancy. My mother will kill me. Very early in the morning the next day, I quickly rushed to John's house. John, I think I'm pregnant. I haven't seen my period for last month. I tested this morning and my suspicion was correct. What are we going to do now? Remember, you promised to get married to me.
I know I promised you, but why did you have to get pregnant? This is not part of the plan. You know fully well that I'm still living with my parent. What on earth do you want me to do? I haven't finished schooling yet. How will I take care of you? You tell me. I'm not ready yet for marriage. What are you thinking? Get rid of it, dear. I had to leave all I was doing and rush down here. What is the problem?
I'm pregnant.
What? You are joking, right?
I wish it was a joke. I'm pregnant.
Have you told your mum yet?
I don't know how to tell her. That is why I call you girls here.
What about John? Is he getting married to you as you told us the last time to avoid having this baby out of wedlock?
My name is Nancy. I got pregnant at 17. Getting pregnant at a young age with a person who is not ready for marriage could be frustrating. Don't judge me. Sometimes things which we cannot control happens. Here are my friends. We do literally everything together. Most times we spend our day in each other's home, where the parent at any of us who were visited will prepare a meal for us. We were very happy at all times because we don't have anything to worry about. Until this guy came into my life. This is my boyfriend. His name is John. He is a cool guy who anyone could think of. It will amuse you how we met. I actually met John as I was rushing to one of my friend's house. I just tripled and fall while he was coming down the stairs. He just stood there looking and laughing at me. Well, I quickly stood up. Just like that we became friends. We spent time together. It was an amazing moment with him. Most times he wouldn't want me to go home. Trust me, huh? But I made sure to go back home to avoid my mother's trouble. One day my mother called me and sat me down. She began.
My dear daughter, what are you really doing with John? You are my only daughter, and I wouldn't want you to get pregnant out of wedlock. I know what I'm saying. Be very careful with the way you go around with him. Don't forget whose daughter you are.
Few months later.
Avoid having this baby out of wedlock.
John, he wants me to have an abortion. That he is not ready for marriage now. I can't get myself doing it. It's risky, and as you girls know, I'm the only child of my parents. I can't I don't want my mother to feel pain of losing a child she suffered to bring to the world.
You have to tell your mother. This is the best thing to do, dear.
How do I initiate it? She warned me.
I warned you about that boy. You didn't listen to me. See the shame that you have brought to me. I am ashamed of you. I'm your mother, and I cannot throw you away. You will give birth to the baby, and I will take care of you. Since the boy in question denied you and his parents supported him, I guess you have learned your lessons, you silly girl.
At that moment, my world seems to have crumbled just right before me.
What are you doing here? I'm just pitying you. That is why I will allow you to even say a word. Say what you want and get out of my house. Look at it.
I never knew you were so devilish. Why would I involve myself with you? I don't blame you. I blame myself for allowing you to deceive me. Anyway, I have come here for you and your family to take responsibility of this child I'm carrying. I didn't get myself pregnant. You did. Things are quite difficult and it's hard on my mother. I need to get some baby's things. I will be giving birth in a month's time.
Who is responsible for your pregnancy? See, young lady, don't bring your problems to me. John, is not responsible for that thing you are carrying in your womb. Get out of my house. I said get going. Nonsense. Carrying in your womb. Get out of my house. I said get going. Nonsense.
I will go, but my God will judge you.
My darling daughter, it has been years now, and your child is grown. I believe it's high time you settle down. You are doing well. What about Timothy you told me about last time? When are they coming?
Mother, you are really funny. Don't worry. I will let you know when they are coming. I can't stop thanking you for being by my side all these years. Thank you, Mother, for believing in me even when I messed up. You never stopped showing me love. I love you, Mother.
Sweetheart, since we are married now, I would like to adopt your son. I love him and I will always treat him like mine. You have been a blessing to me since you came into my life.
Honey, that's very sweet of you. I love you.
Baby girl, you are not looking bad at all. I don't need to ask you how you are faring. Your hubby is really trying.
Thanks, dear. And you are looking beautiful as usual. You are welcome to my home.
Thank you. Have you heard that John was involved in a ghastly motor accident?
Which of the Jones?
The one you know.
Omolola was a pregnant virgin. The village of Emure was a close-knit community, and the news of her unusual pregnancy spread quickly. Once upon a time, in a small, beautiful, and peaceful village called Emure, lived a young woman named Omolola. Omolola was known for her beauty, kindness, and gentle spirit. Her eyes held a secret that even she couldn't explain. Omolola was a pregnant virgin. The village of Emure was a close-knit community, and the news of her unusual pregnancy spread quickly. Whispers and rumors filled the air, and people wondered how such a miracle could happen. Some thought it was a divine blessing, while others were skeptical, believing there must be some hidden truth. Omolola, however, remained calm and composed in the face of all the attention and questions. She knew that what was growing within her was a gift from the heavens, a child that would bring something extraordinary to their village. As her belly continued to swell with life, Omolola found solace in the company of an old woman named Mama Abeni, a wise and mystical figure in the village. Mama Abeni had a reputation for seeing things that others couldn't, and she had a knowing smile when she looked at Omolola. Mama Abeni, Omolola asked, one sunny afternoon as they sat beneath the shade of a big tree, "Can you tell me what's happening to me? Why am I pregnant when I have never known a man?" Mama Abeni gazed into Omolola's eyes and replied, "Child, your pregnancy is a mystery, but it is also a blessing. You carry a child of destiny, a child who will change the world. The path ahead may be difficult, but trust in the journey, and you will find your purpose." Omolola felt reassured by Mama Abeni's words, and she continued to go about her daily routine, tending to her chores and helping others in the village. As her pregnancy progressed, the villagers saw her grace and strength and began to believe in the miracle within her. One fateful night, as a brilliant star lit up the sky, Omolola went into labor. The entire village gathered around her, and even the skeptics were filled with wonder. In the midst of this miraculous event, a radiant child was born, a boy with eyes that held the wisdom of ages. The village erupted in joy, for they knew that this child was indeed special. Omolola named him Araoluwa, a name that meant the Lord's wonder, for she believed he would bring great wisdom and wonders to the people. As Araoluwa grew, he displayed an extraordinary gift for healing, soothing even the most severe of ailments with his gentle touch. People from far and wide came to seek his wisdom and healing abilities. Araoluwa's reputation spread throughout the land, and soon the little village that had once questioned his birth became a place of pilgrimage for those seeking miracles. Araoluwa's teachings were filled with love and compassion, and he often spoke of the importance of faith and understanding. He taught his people to look beyond the surface of things and see the divine in everyone and everything. In time, Araoluwa's message of love and unity transformed not only his village, but the entire neighboring villages. His legacy lived on for generations, and people remember the story of Omolola, the pregnant virgin, who had brought this remarkable child into the world. The village of Emure, where Omolola and Araoluwa was, became a symbol of faith, love, and miracles, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary things can happen when we least expect them. And as the generations passed, the legend of Omolola, the pregnant virgin, and her gifted son, Araoluwa, continued to inspire and uplift the hearts of all who heard their story.
Once upon a time, many years ago, in the serene village of Akko, nestled in Osun State, Nigeria, two brothers Bolan and Kola carried the weight of the orphanage from their childhood. Bolan's heart, tainted by jealousy, led him down a path of darkness, while Kola, diligent and habituous, flourished with wealth and family. Kola, the youngest of the two, has a heart filled with diligence and ambition. He amassed considerable wealth through tireless work, with extensive farms and thriving livestock that included sheep, goats, poultry, duck, and more. In addition to his wealth, Kola enjoyed the company of a beautiful wife named Bola and his beloved children, who are the joy of his life. On the contrary, his brother Bolahan chose the path of leisure. He wandered aimlessly from house to house, looking for temporary comfort. This useless existence pushed him into extreme poverty, igniting the flames of resentment and jealousy within him. His eyes were always fixed on his younger brother's prosperity. Seething with jealousy, Bolahan's heart became dark with sinister intentions as he sought to destroy Kola and inherit his property. He plotted and plotted, but fortune continued to favor the diligent Kola, who, despite his brother's malice, loved and cared for Bolahan. One fateful day, Bolahan turned to black magic for help, searching for a powerful sorcerer. He begged the sorcerer to create an evil spell that would destroy his virtuous brother. In the shadow of his wickedness, complied. The morning sun rised during the growing season, shining golden light across the land. Kola, as usual, woke up early to start his daily work, but fate took a cruel turn when a terrible accident happened to him right on his own farm, leaving him paralyzed and helpless. Bola and the worried villagers searched for a cure, but hope seemed distant. Amidst Kola's suffering, Bolahan remained intoxicated with his evil victory. He visits the evil wizard and obtains a talisman that can take away his brother's sight. Darkness descended on Kola's world as the spell took over, plugging him into a world of eternal night. Bolahan's malice knew no bound, and his nefarious plans continued unabated. Now blind and helpless, Kola is at the mercy of his traitorous brother. Bolahan orchestrated the banishment of Bola and their innocent children from Kola's life, hoping to take full ownership of his brother's vast wealth. As the once prosperous Kola languished in hunger and loneliness, he gathered the last remnants of his strength. One fateful day, he revealed all his determination and walked out of his desolate abode in the hope that a kind soul would help him. However, his cry for help remained unanswered. Undeterred, Kola's indomitable spirit led him into the dense forest, his hand and knees bearing the weight of despair. Exhausted and almost defeated, he sought revenge under the spreading branches of a giant logo tree. While resting, he accidentally heard scary conversation above. Unbeknownst to him, The majestic local tree is a gathering place for the village witches, where they hatch their sinister plans. A man from a tree told about a witch king living in a nearby village who had been blind for many years. He possessed a magical leaf that has the ability to cure all diseases. He begged his fellow witches to help the king, but their sinister heart remained unmoved. As fate would have it, the man threw the leaf away and it fell on Kola's shoulder. With trembling hands, he took out the leaf and pressed its essence into his eyes. Miraculously, his vision was restored. He repeated the process on his legs and regained use. Kola, now able to see and walk, set out on a journey to find the rich but blind king. His tattered appearance attracted curious glance from the palace guard, but in the end, his sincere request to meet the king was granted. In the presence of the monarch, Kola used the enchanted leaf to restore the king's sight, bringing unbridled joy to the kingdom. The generous king was extremely grateful and rewarded Kola with the hand of his beautiful princess and gave him rule over a portion of his vast kingdom. Kola, once a victim of misfortune, rose to the pinnacle of success and happiness. However, news of Kola new prosperity reached his cruel brother, Bolan, who, driven by jealousy and malice, embarked on a dangerous journey to deceive the worthy king. But the gods were not on Bolan's side. In the midst of a sinister plot, one of the king's guards acted quickly and beheaded his traitorous brother. Bolan's blood served as a cleansing sacrifice to the land, ridding it once and for all of his evil presence. As for Kola, he enjoyed the warmth of his new love, the princess' embrace, and the glory of his kingdom, knowing that true virtue and perseverance will always triumph over wickedness. Thus, the story of the evil brother has come to an end, serving as a reminder that even in the face of darkness, the light of goodness and justice can still light the way to a good future. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel to support us. Hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share.
One fateful morning, the day Amira was supposed to leave for the city, a tragic event occurred. As Amira stepped into her mother's room to bid her farewell, she found her mother lying lifeless on the bed. Once upon a time, there lived a young lady named Amira. Amira was 35 years old, but she had no husband nor children, no money, no business, and no tertiary education. Amira was just a girl who had no life at 35. She felt she had nothing figured out about her life. She had nothing to look up to or call her own. She was lost in her own world. All of her childhood friends were happily married and had started a family. Some of them had found success in their career and were doing very well for themselves. But Amira's life was just the opposite. Although this was never the life she wanted to live, nor was it a life she envisaged for herself, but the circumstances surrounding her were beyond her control, and she wasn't able to thrive. Amira lived in a small village called Ama-Efe with her sick, aged mother and her sister named Ijola, who was just 12 years old. Her father passed away when she was 6 years old, leaving her mother single-handedly alone to raise them. However, life took a tragic turn when her mother became ill and was no longer able to care for them. Her mother has been ill for many years and was unable to work and provide for Amira and her sister, Ijola. At a tender age of 18, Amira had the sole responsibility of caring for herself, her ailing mother, and her younger sibling. Her mother's illness prevented her from leaving the village to pursue opportunities in the city and further her education. She was stuck in the village where she had to do manual jobs for people to enable her earn some amount of money and take care of her sibling and her sick mother. Life was very hard for Amira because she worked day and night tirelessly to take care of her sister and mother. Amira had too many responsibilities, and they prevented her from planning her future. As a result of this, she didn't have her life figured out even at this time in her life. Each time Amira walked across the road, she would see her childhood friends, some of them in exotic cars with their husbands. When she tries to greet them or call out to them, they ignore her. Most times, they might give her a mean and condescending look. Amira was looked down on by all of her childhood friends because she was nowhere near to their level of achievement. None of them wanted to talk or socialize with her. They never wanted her as a friend because they saw her as a good-for-nothing person and that she was beneath their level. On many occasions, Amira had attempted to greet or hold a conversation with her childhood friends when she encountered them along the way, but they would invariably ignore her, acting as if she did not exist. This treatment always left Amira feeling hurt and discouraged. She became ashamed and would always hide herself whenever she spotted any of her childhood friends approaching from afar. She did not want to be seen in her present state. One day, while Amira was on her way to the market to buy food for dinner, she saw her childhood friend, Anissa, approaching from a distance. But before she could find a place to hide, Anissa had already spotted her. Anissa had just come back from the city and was looking very beautiful and stylish. She said to Amira, "Amira, oh, is this you? Oh my goodness, it's been ages. Where are you going looking like this? You look so tattered and unkempt." I know I look messy and tattered, but that's just because I got back from work. But I am on my way to the market to buy some food. You're looking so beautiful, Anissa. Oh, thank you. What kind of a job do you do now? And besides, are you married? No, I'm not married yet. I work at people's farm and I help them clear their farmland. They pay me for my work. That is what I do. Gosh, how could you call that a job? That's no job, girl. You need to upgrade yourself. Stop doing such jobs. They're too nasty for you. Honestly, you need to try harder. Well, I just want to tell you that I'm getting married next week, and that's why I came back to this village to prepare for my big traditional marriage ceremony. The whole village is going to hear about it. Hey, that's so nice. Please, can I be part of your bridal dream? I would love to join. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you're too old for that. Besides, my bridal train is for big and rich girls. I'm sorry, you're not on that level. Please excuse me. Amira was so surprised to hear such condescending words from Anissa. She couldn't believe what she just heard. She was speechless and stood there for a few minutes thinking about what Anissa just said to her. She burst into tears. She couldn't hold back her tears any longer. She went home that day looking so sad and broken and devastated. She sat on her bed thinking about her life. All of a sudden, a thought came to her mind. She went into her kitchen and picked a poisonous substance from a small bowl, and she went back to her room and sat on the bed. She said to herself, I am tired of being mocked. It is best I end it now. Yes, I would rather die than live a wretched life like this. This will be the only way to end my pain. As she was about to drink the substance, she had her hands close to her mouth. But then another thought came to her mind. If you drink this poison and die, who will take care of your mother and sister? They would suffer more. Is it worth it? Life would just be more difficult for your sister, who is just 12 years old. As these thoughts ran through her mind, she wasn't able to take the poison anymore. As she sat on her bed thinking, she slept off and she had a dream. In her dream, she saw herself in a beautifully well-decorated room filled with gold and silver and different kinds of beautiful jewelries. She had many servants surrounding her, and they were serving her as she was dining and eating in a big dining room. She was living like a queen in her dream. When she woke up and she realized that it was only a dream, she became sad and moody again. Her mother noticed how sad and moody Amira had become. She was concerned, so she called Amira and spoke to her about it. I know that time is not on your side. Your youth is fading. You are not getting any younger. I understand your worries. Now, it is time. You need to go and find your fulfillment and self-discovery so that you can be happy. Your sister and I will take care of ourselves. But Amira refused, and her mother began to persuade her more. After a while, she accepted, and she told her mother that she would do her best to make her proud. Amira's mother was happy, and she was finally at ease. Amira began to work harder to save up money so that she would leave the village for the city. After 3 months of hard work, she was able to save up a substantial amount of money, enough to rent an apartment at the city. She was excited that finally she would be leaving the village. But she also felt sad because she didn't want to leave her mother and sister. One fateful morning, the day Amira was supposed to leave for the city, a tragic event occurred. As Amira stepped into her mother's room to bid her farewell, she found her mother lying lifeless on the bed. She desperately tried to wake her mother, but to no avail. All her efforts proved futile. It was then that Amira realized that her mother had passed away. Her heart shattered as she wept uncontrollably. Her life, once filled with dreams and aspirations, was now fragmented into pieces of despair. At her mother's funeral, Amira could not control her emotions. She couldn't stop crying. She was now left alone with her 12-year-old sister, Ijola. One morning, she began to think of the next thing to do. But she had no other option than to proceed with her travel to the city. This time around, she had to go with her sister. But after careful consideration, she thought it would be risky and unwise to take her sister to an unfamiliar location. So she decided to send her sister to the neighboring village to live with her aunt, who was her mother's sister. The next morning, Amira embarked on her journey to the city. She boarded a taxi straight to the city. As she sat at the back of the taxi, she was weeping bitterly. Her heart was heavy with grief, and the thought of her mother kept running through her mind. After 10 hours of journey, she finally arrived in the city. With the little money she had saved up, she rented a very small room where she could keep her belongings and lay her head. After a few days, when she had finally settled in, she started looking for a job. She went from one location to another in search of a job. She finally got a job in a restaurant as a local waitress. She began to work hard, and she was able to make some money, which she sent back home for her little sister and was able to save some for her future education. After 12 months of working and saving enough money, she decided to enroll into an adult higher education. Things were going pretty well for her until her aunt, whom Ijola, her sister, was living with, began to make demands for more money from Amira. She would fabricate lies and tell Amira that her sister was sick just to get more money from her. Back at the village, Ijola was being mistreated by her auntie and wasn't even being properly taken care of. She was mistreated so badly that she had to run away from her auntie's house, and she went to live with an old woman called Iyana, who lived in the same village with her auntie. Although the old woman lived in a shabby-looking hut, she took good care of Ijola, and Ijola began to live with her. Back at the city, Amira, who had no idea of what was happening, kept sending money to her aunt, thinking that her sister was well taken care of. But little did she know that her sister was no longer with her auntie. But since Amira trusted her auntie, she kept on sending more and more and more money, as her auntie kept demanding and extorting more money from her. The demand got too much, and at a point, Amira had no more money to send. She spent all her savings, and she was left with nothing. She became so poor that she wasn't able to continue her education and pay her house rent. Her rent was due and needed to be renewed. She wasn't able to pay her bills any longer, so she dropped out of school. One day, as Amira was walking along the street, she coincidentally met her cousin named Safia. She was happy to meet her, since she didn't know that they lived in the same city. Amira told Safia that she needed help and explained to her how her rent was almost due and that she would be sent out by the landlord very soon. Safia felt pity for her, and she decided to accommodate Amira. Amira moved into Safia's apartment. She met Safia's sisters. She was warmly welcomed, and she began to live with them. Everything was going well for Amira, until when God decided to bless Amira. Many handsome and rich men began to ask for her hand in marriage. Some of these men were so wealthy that Safia became jealous of Amira. Although Amira was not giving them a chance because she felt she was not in the same league with them, but that was not enough reason to stop Safia, who had grown so jealous and so much hatred for Amira. Safia and her sisters sent Amira out of their apartment. They disappointed Amira, and she was neglected when she needed them the most. She was left with nowhere to go. She moved into an uncompleted building that she found across the street. Since the building was still under construction, Amira decided to stay there until she gathered enough money to rent a new apartment. Few days after she moved into the uncompleted building, she woke up one day and was about to leave the building in search of a job. She saw a woman named Madame Aya approaching her. At first, she was scared, But she summoned courage and asked the woman, "Good morning, ma. Please, who are you? What are you looking for?" "This is my building. I came here to see the work in progress so far. So I should be the one asking you what you are doing in my building." "I am so sorry, ma. I didn't mean to trespass in your building. I am just a homeless girl and I have nowhere to go. My sisters threw me out of their house. I had nowhere to go, so I decided to stay here for a while until I save up some money for house rent. Please, ma, don't send me away. House rent. Please, ma, don't send me away." Madam Aya felt so much pity for Amira after she heard her story. She asked Amira if she had a job, but Amira told her that she was jobless at the moment. She'd offered Amira a job in her house as a cleaner and housekeeper, and she would also give her an accommodation where she would comfortably live. Amira was so excited. She accepted the offer immediately, carried her bags, and followed the woman back to her house and began to work immediately as her housekeeper. She was very hardworking and so devoted to her job. She washed the clothes, cooked the food, and would clean the whole mansion, and she was indeed hardworking. Madam Aya was so satisfied with her job, and she treated Amira so well. Madam Aya lived alone because all her children were grown and lived in foreign countries. She had 3 rich, handsome boys who rarely visits home. She was a very rich woman, but her children were richer. One day, on a beautiful Monday morning, one of her sons, Osagie, came back home to visit his mother. Madam Aya was very excited to see his son, and he welcomed him warmly. The next day, Amira resumed work. Osagie, Madam Aya's son, saw Amira and began to like her. He fell in love with Amira. Osagie couldn't take his eyes off Amira. Amira admired him too. It was like love at first sight. He went to ask his mother about Amira. Her mother told him who Amira was and how she met her. She told her son that Amira was a good woman. Osagie told her mother he wanted to marry Amira. His mother approved of it and gave her son her blessings. After a few weeks, Amira and Osagie got married. It was a great joy and celebration for the entire family. 2 months after their marriage, Amira decided to go back to the village to bring her little sister Ijola to the city to live with her. When Amira got to the village, she was driven in an expensive car. All the people who thought nothing good would come out of Amira hid their faces in shame. The villagers were shocked and wouldn't believe their eyes when they saw how much Amira had changed. There was a great uproar in the village, and the news of Amira's return and transformation spread quickly like wildfire. Amira's return and transformation spread quickly like wildfire. Most of her childhood friends who treated her badly and ignored her were embarrassed, and they lacked the courage to approach her, offer her a greeting, or even congratulate her. They never saw it coming because in their hearts, they thought Amira was going to be useless forever. When she got to her aunt's house, she told her aunt that she wants to take her sister Ijola with her. Her aunt lied and told her that her sister ran away a few days ago and that she didn't know the sister's whereabouts. Amira was very unhappy. She was devastated because she didn't know where to find her sister. Back at the old woman's hut, Ijola was sent on an errand by the old woman. She had to go sell some farm products that they harvested from their farm because that was their means of sustenance. As she was on her way to the market, she began to hear rumors about her sister's return. She saw a woman who was discussing what she had seen earlier and asked her some questions regarding the rumor. The woman told her that Amira was back. And not only that she was back, but she came back looking very rich, riding in a big car. At first, Ijola could not believe her ears. So she decided to find out for herself. She ran to her aunt's house, and there she met her sister, looking so beautiful and different from before. She was very excited and couldn't hold back her joy. Amira was so pleased to see her sister again. Ijola told her all her story and how she was being mistreated by her aunt. Amira was so disappointed as she listened to her sister's story. She took her sister back to the woman's hut and thanked her greatly for taking care of her sister. Amira took her sister back to the city and they lived together. Amira went back to further her education, and after 4 years, she graduated. She became the managing director of her husband's company. The girl who was once called useless was now a role model for many girls in the village. The moral lesson of this story is that you should always believe in yourself. No matter the situation, your current circumstances does not determine your final destination. Never give up hope, even when it seems like everything is falling apart, because things can change at any moment. And don't let other people define you. You are who you choose to be. Remember that God has the final say in your life. Your plans may not always work out, but God has a plan for you, and it will surely work out.
The night Labi was born, there was a great joy in the family of Mr. and Mrs. Okunte. Joy filled everyone's heart that finally the cry of a female child has been heard in the family, since they already had 7 boys. But something very strange happened that night. That same night, Mr. Okunte, Labi's father, died mysteriously. And the joy turned into mourning. The news had gone round the entire community, and by morning, the elders of the village had gathered and came to the conclusion that Labi was an evil child and a witch, and she needed to be killed. After the meeting, they came to Labi's house requesting the mom to release her to be taken to the evil forest so they could kill her there. But Labi's mom said, "Leave my child alone. If my child is a witch, at least it's her own family she's destroying and not yours. It's my family, it's my husband that died and not yours. So please go face your family and leave my compound." So the elders got angry and told her, "Whatever happens, don't run back to us. We will not listen to you." And they left. Life was very difficult for Labi while growing up because nobody played with her. She had no friends. She was regarded as a witch. Nobody played with her apart from her brothers. Nobody was allowed to talk to her in the village. If you were seen talking to her, you would be punished. She couldn't buy anything from anyone in the village. She did her primary and secondary education in the next village because she wasn't allowed to associate with her peers. Neither was she admitted into any school in the village. This made Labi so sad and lonely. Labi would often go to Lado Forest to sing and cry. Lado Forest was a mini forest not too far from the living houses. It was more like a bush, and it was a companion. One day, Ibumu, who had just returned from the city to the village to see his parents, was taking a stroll when he heard a song coming from Lado's forest. He moved closer and the song became louder. Ibumu traced the voice and found Labi singing. "Why are you all alone in this bush?" Ibumu asked her. Lado replied, "Aren't you afraid? Seeing a girl sitting all alone in this bush. What if I'm a witch?" she said to him. And he said, "You are not a witch." He tried to stop her from crying and asked her what the problem was. And then she opened up and told him everything. So he encouraged her and told her not to live her life based on people's opinion, that she should take care of herself and plan to further her education. So he took her to the house, and everybody who saw them was surprised that Ibumu was walking with her. Some quickly ran to the parents' house to tell them that Ibumu was seen walking with that witch girl, Labi. Ibumu took Labi home and spent some time with her at home before leaving for his house. It became a source of encouragement. Labi started changing gradually from her dressing to hiding. She became more confident about herself because of Ibumu's encouraging words. When he got back home that day, they told him everything, but he told them that he already knew everything. They were surprised. Ibumu said, "How can you call a girl a witch just because her father died the day she was born?" Labi is 25. Who has died since the death of her father? What strange thing has happened after that incident? They couldn't answer. You all in this village just made that poor girl's life miserable. The parents felt pity and remorseful as he walked out of them. Ibumu made it a point of duty to always spend time with Labi, encouraging her for the next few days he had to spend in the village. After 5 days, Ibumu went back to the city. Labi's life had changed generally because of Ibumu's words of encouragement. One day, Labi said to her mother, "Mom, I want to go back to school. But before that, I would love to work for a while so I can get used to interacting and socializing with people before going to school." The mom was overjoyed. She told her not to worry. "I will call your auntie in the city to look for a job for you and allow you to stay with her for a while before you gain admission into the university." Later that day, Labi's mom called her sister and she accepted. So Labi went to the city the following month and started working. She worked and went for extra classes as well, since she had been out of school for a while. She was a very smart and intelligent girl. After 2 years, she gained admission into the university to study law. Labi also started an NGO to encourage others because of everything she had been through and how the words of a man changed her life. Labi became a name of her own even before she finished her school. She became a woman of influence. Her story sold her out. She became an influencer and became rich even when she was still in school. One day while in her final year, she went to pick some toiletries in a supermarket not too far from her house, and she saw a man that was staring at her. When she looked closely, she saw Ibumu, the man who changed her entire life with his words of encouragement. She was overjoyed, and they were both happy. Seeing how Labi was looking and how she has changed made Ibumu cry. He said, "Look at the epitome of beauty, a woman of influence that would have wasted in the village because of ignorance." They exchanged number, and he invited her for dinner over the weekend. He was already married and had 2 lovely kids. When Ibumu got home, he told his wife about everything, and she was surprised. Ibumu had told her when he returned to the city about the encounter with Labi when he visited the village. Then his wife was his girlfriend. Labi went to Ibumu's house over the weekend. He was so happy to see her. He discussed intensively with his wife, and she told him everything. And she said her story would not be complete without his name in it. God used him to help her. They both cried for joy. Ibumu's wife quickly set the table for dinner. And while they were about to eat, they heard a knock on the door. It was Dali, Ibumu's friend, who's also from Labi's village. Dali looked closely at Labi and called her lad, as he fondly calls her, and she replied, "Dal." They were extremely excited to see each other. Ibumu and his wife were surprised. Then Labi told him that Dali was her only friend in the entire village. He would sneak out to stay with her. He often went to Lado Forest with her. After his secondary school, he left for the city and never returned. So she became worse and miserable until Ibumu met her. Years after, and everything changed. They were all happy and ate together. After a year, Labi and Dali got married, and they lived happily ever after.
Long time ago, in a small village in the Yoruba kingdom, there lived a man and his wife, Olurumbi. Olurumbi and her husband had been married for some time now without any child of their own. Some of the villagers mocked her. Some even gossiped about her because of her childlessness. This made Oluomi very sad that she would always cry her eyes out. Why can't I have a child of my own like the others? She sometimes wondered. So sad was Oluomi that one day she went to ask for a child from an Iroko tree. She vowed to give that child to the Iroko tree if she could have one. Her wish was granted, and 9 months later, Oluomi gave birth to a very beautiful girl. By this time, Oluomi had forgotten all about the vow she had made. Many days, weeks, months, and years passed by, and Oluomi's daughter, Kikelomo, had grown to be a very beautiful damsel. Oluomi still had not paid her vow, but one day, the Iroko tree showed up and demanded payment of Oluomi's vow. Her beautiful daughter, Kikelomo. Oluomi begged and begged for the Iroko tree to let go, but the Iroko tree will have none of it. And so, her daughter was lost to the Iroko tree. Oníkálukú jẹ́jẹ́ ewúrẹ́. Oníkálukú jẹ́jẹ́ àgùntàn bọ́lọ́jọ́. Oluomi jẹ́jẹ́ ọmọ rẹ̀ ọmọ bíbo. Oluomi ló join, Iroko join.
The end. Once upon a time, there was a very lazy man in a village. He would keep trying to get food without doing any hard work. One morning, while wandering around the village to see if he can get some food to eat, but he found nothing. He tries to figure out what he could do. Why is there no food in this village? Oh my God, I am super hungry. What should I do now? He thought in his mind. He decided to steal some strawberries to eat. As soon as he picked up some strawberries, the owner of the garden saw him and started coming towards him. The lazy man got scared and ran into the forest nearby to hide. While walking through the forest, he saw a gazelle that has been injured and couldn't walk anymore. The man wondered how the gazelle was surviving without walking. How can he defend himself from other animals? But the gazelle was happy crawling around. Suddenly, he saw a lion coming towards the gazelle, with a piece of meat in its mouth. The lazy man climbed up the tree to save himself, but the gazelle stayed because he could not run away. But the man's eyes were on the stalks. As he saw the lion left a piece of meat for the gazelle to eat, the lazy man felt happy, seeing God's plan. He started to think that God always has a plan set to take care of his creatures. Then he believes that God must have something planned for him too. So he left to find a place to sit and wait for someone to feed him. He waited and waited. I know that someone will bring me something to eat. The person might be on the way. I will wait patiently, the lazy man was assuring himself. He waited there for 2 days without any food. Finally, he couldn't bear the hunger and he left. He met an old man on the way. He told everything to him and then asked Wise One. God showed mercy to the crypt gazelle. But why didn't he show mercy to me? The old man answered, It's true that God has a plan for everyone. You are obviously a part of his plan, but son, you took his signs in a wrong way. He doesn't want you to be like the gazelle. He wanted you to be like the lion. Sometimes in life, we can misread God's signs for us and take them in a wrong way. Don't despair, maybe contemplate about your life so far, and think about what God's signs you have possibly misread in your life. May God help you to read all his signs correctly. Thanks for watching and God bless you.
Carrying in your womb. Get out of my house. I said get going. Nonsense.
I will go, but my God will judge you.
My darling daughter, it has been years now, and your child is grown. I believe it's high time you settle down. You are doing well. What about Timothy you told me about last time? When are they coming?
Mother, you are really funny. Don't worry. I will let you know when they are coming. I can't stop thanking you for being by my side all these years. Thank you, Mother, for believing in me even when I messed up. You never stopped showing me love. I love you, Mother.
Sweetheart, since we are married now, I would like to adopt your son. I love him and I will always treat him like mine. You have been a blessing to me since you came into my life.
Honey, that's very sweet of you. I love you.
Baby girl, you are not looking bad at all. I don't need to ask you how you are faring. Your hubby is really trying.
Thanks, dear. And you are looking beautiful as usual. You are welcome to my home.
Thank you. Have you heard that John was involved in a ghastly motor accident?
Which of the Jones?
The one you know.
Once upon a time, there lived a woman named Onukubi. She was the daughter-in-law of an esteemed family, and her father was a renowned native.